So I'm just going to talk a bit about this thing I started. Kevin's not here, but just in case you're curious, Kevin Clark is also on the board for the thing that I'm talking about. So if you know Kevin better than me, you're welcome to ask him lots of questions any time. Let's see. Okay. Nice. So I'm already with that. Okay. So yeah. So the thing that I started, Exapno, is a new music community center. That's kind of a funny corporate sounding term. I didn't quite know what to call it. The generative impetus behind it was I graduated school and I moved to New York, and I really missed having a creative community to work in. I'm a composer primarily, and I do some performance, but mostly as a composer your life can be very isolated and very lonely. And I was lucky enough to go to these great schools. I went to Yale undergrad and I went to Princeton grad school. And all the time, actually my first picture, all the time I was working, I kind of rejected the model that most people have of composition where you, let me do that full screen, where you, are working alone and miserably in the high tower someplace, completely oblivious to the world. I like much better working with people around me, and I like showing scores to people quickly or playing things for people quickly and getting their reactions. And I was really sad when I moved to New York that I lost that. So one really big push that I had to start the center was that I wanted it for me. I just wanted a community to work in for myself. Another reason I started it was I was really lucky, again, going to these amazing schools that I was lucky enough to go to. There's already kind of a funnel system from Yale or from Princeton into New York. So there are tons of opportunities that I got, not necessarily because I'm any good as a composer, but because I went to these schools and I was part of this network now. And I had this variety of opportunity that I realized incredibly talented people coming from, great schools like Indiana or UCLA might not have immediately because they don't have that network to plug into. So I thought, well, how do these connections generally happen? It's just a common work environment. Just being able to go, oh, we're all part of this same institution is already just an easy enough way to start making the connections that can lead to opportunities and can get your work out there more. So those are all kind of the factors that went into my trying to start this thing. So the original vision was that it would be kind of like this. This is the composer's studio at Princeton. I don't know if anyone who knows. This is Yasha Narveson, Cameron Britt, John Russell. They're all performers and composers. They all do some of their work in isolation, but a lot of their work happened in this tiny little cramped office space, which, that's the best Princeton can offer us composers. We had like about 12 people in a tiny room, which was fabulous for me, because I was, I'd have on my headphones, or I'd be at the keyboard, and I'd immediately go, hey, what do you think about this? I'm stuck here. And I'd have 7 people whose opinions, I both respected and were diverse, telling me what they thought. And just the way I work, I really, really appreciated that. So I wanted to find a space kind of like that, hopefully a little larger, where, my first goal was that composers could come and work and have basic resources like a keyboard and, a coffee maker and stuff like that to work together. So I was lucky enough, a little over 2 years ago now, to stumble on this building at 33 Flatbush. That's my next picture. Yeah. Which is wild. If you've never been there, for Exapno, you might even be on your radar for other organizations. It's a building owned by an eccentric man named Alataro. We'll get to his photo later. He had this building for 30 years because right after he bought it, the building was put on the urban renewal list. So as a landlord, you're not allowed to do anything with your building once it's put on urban renewal. You have to just sit there, not paying taxes, but not doing anything with your building. So for whatever reason, this building became his closet for all his eccentric collectibles from around the city. And 30 years after it was on the urban renewal list, the city said, just kidding. You can rent it out, you can renovate it, you can make money off it and pay us some tax. So him being a cool guy, instead of, getting 7 law firms to come in and inhabit this 7-story building, he opened it up to a bunch of nonprofits and arts organizations. So Exapno was by no means the first, but we were one of the early organizations to get in there. There are a ton of architects in there. There's a green roof company, some of the landscapers who work on the High Line are in there. There's a fair trade tea company, there's a chocolate company. Basically anyone doing anything that could be interpreted as as good for the world, but not very profitable, he opens his door, and he's a fabulous guy. So that's the reason we could get in and get this space, because I struck a deal with him, and I said, look, I have no budget, I have no money. Exapno, this company I'm trying to create, has no money. But if I get members, one by one, as I get people who want to be a part of this space, could we just pay you per member? Could the rent be that per member, as it grows and as we're using more resources, I pay you bigger and bigger rent? And he said, sure, no problem. So the way it works right now, so these are two members, Dan Iglesias and Yasha Narvison. This is a typical day at Exapno. They have their laptops open. I think at this point Dan was coding his 3D multimedia rock bandish piece. I don't quite know how to describe it. Yasha was coding up something else. This is a code-heavy day. There are times when members come in and they have their giant orchestra scores just strewn on the table and they're writing notes. There's all kinds of different people. There's a kind of a punk rocker / classical musician who comes in with his spiky hair at 2 a.m. and writes string quartets. And so we definitely have all kinds. But the reason it's able to exist at all is because we have this model where any money that comes in, so the membership charge is $84. For that you get all the resources of the space, and all of that goes right to Al, the landlord. So the bad part about that is, we've been running for 2 years and we have no budget. But the good part about that is we're not in danger of losing our space. Just as I can get more members to grow, our space in the building, our presence is bigger and we're more established. Summer months kind of wane and we have fewer members, but it's okay. Unlike a model where I had to pay $10,000 a month for space or something, or we crumble, this is doable. So we're really, really lucky that we found this place. So let me just show you a little bit around this space. So this was my main idea. Oh, this would be so great, a composer workspace. But then also, a lot of groups around town didn't have a great rehearsal space. Is that like a time cutoff that I just heard?
No.
Okay, let me know.
Yeah,
exactly.
I gotcha.
Okay. A lot of groups who were just out of school didn't have the budget to be paying Carol Studios or whatever pricey place, lots and lots of money for rehearsal time. So this is, primarily an office building where people are working hours like 9 to 5 or 8 to 7, something like that. In the evenings, we started bringing in ensembles to come in and rehearse. So this is actually by day a conference table where architects bring clients or the tea company brings in clients. But at night, we use it, we sign it out as a rehearsal space. So this is a group called Concert Black. They all had just actually Owen, the percussionist, was still in school. But all three of them had just finished school. They're just kind of moving to New York. They didn't have their resources set yet. But just by joining Exapno, all of a sudden they had virtually unlimited rehearsal time. I mean, we have few enough members that it's a first come, first serve kind of sign up calendar. So lots of rehearsal time and a community. They could come and meet other people, and already I think Lisa's collaborated at least with 2 other Exapno members. Owen's got one thing going, I think, in the winter with another Exapno member. So they came and they had a community already. So that makes my heart sing with joy. We're also really great for things that are extremely outside the box. So here, that guy in the white t-shirt is Sean Fryer. He's a composer who I got to know at Princeton. He was involved for a long time writing an orchestra piece for the American Composers Orchestra. And it was a car parts concerto. So it was for a percussion quartet to be playing on these junk car parts with an orchestra. So there's no affordable way in New York City to spread out over, I think they took, in the end we kind of estimated about 400 square feet of space. It was like a studio apartment's worth, huge studio apartment's worth of space, but they spread out all the different bits of the car that they could try and do the different sounds on. So again, it's an office building by day. At night, we were very respectful of everyone's space, but we were around the chocolate company and the tea company and the green roof company strewing these car parts, letting his quartet practice. So it's kind of a unique musical resource to have that much space to work with and play with. Okay. Yeah, also a lot of things, not as grand scale as this, but kind of like this happened there. This is a group called Ear to Mind. They put out a newsletter. I thought it was monthly, maybe it's a little less than monthly, but they also host events where they talk about things like composer process or ethnicity in music or all different kinds of things. There's lots of meetings that happen. And again, it's just easy enough access that people who have no budget can come and, they all pool together lunch money for a couple days and they can afford to be members for the month, which entitles them to use the space for an event. yeah, so just another one of those series is called Performers Forum. I love this. This is a guy named Corey Bracken who, I don't even think he might have just graduated, but at the time when he joined Exapno, he hadn't even graduated yet. He was at Brooklyn College. And he had this idea where he wanted to have a series that wasn't quite a lecture, wasn't quite concerts, but just a place where musicians, people involved with performance could come and have chats, have kind of something between lectures and concerts with an audience. So here we see Robert Ashley in the front row watching this group, I always say it wrong, Panoply, I can't really say it, Panoply Lab, something. It's a theater troupe, music troupe, giving a presentation about doing his piece, but also at the same time performing snippets of it. And again, the resources that we could give them allow them to do something really affordably that normally would have cost them a lot of money. This is the building owner. Oh, it's really dark, you kind of can't see. But that shadowy figure who looks kind of like Santa Claus. That's Al, the landlord, and he floats into our concerts. This is a really cool concert. A bunch of Columbia composers got together and they wrote a lot of pieces for that instrument right there, the silent drum, which is a drum hooked up to a computer so that the drum isn't making noise in and of itself, but it's touch sensitive, so that as you move this very stretchy head around, it makes different noises and different loops and loops. And they needed a lot of time in the space because they didn't know exactly how this thing would go. So again, unlike a concert venue, it's like loaded at 4, they picked a weekend day where I could go, sure, you want to come in at 10 a.m. and just play around until concert time? Fabulous, no problem. It's an office space. That's no one's there during that time. So I was really happy to be able to offer them that. It was a great concert. We have a kitchen, and just since this is about different community organizing things, this is from Ruben knows where this is from. This is from a W4 concert. This is Tim cooking up some soup.
Take a picture of this.
Lentil soup, yes, I have a picture of this. I love coming into this because it's, the fact that it's a quirky space, I think gives people a different attitude coming in than they would if it was a concert hall or a performance venue. I think just coming in and the first thing you see when you walk in is a dude making lentil soup for the event. All of a sudden, it's family, it's friends, it's a more open feeling, it's dialogue. A lot of people compare it to the 60s or 70s where, lofts were a big place where art was happening, or just people's homes were a big place where things were happening. I like the creative atmosphere of, we're eating cookies and we're drinking whiskey and we're playing music and, oh, there's, someone working in the back on architecture, don't mind them, they're not going to make any noise. It's a very, for better or for worse, it's very atypical of a normal music presenting or rehearsing.
This year we switched to hot dogs, I must disappoint you.
This year what?
We switched to hot dogs instead
of hot dogs a little lower key. I just for hours and hours.
We stole 3 cups, so.
Yeah, I ended up going home with a big Tupperware of lentil soup. My husband loved it. Yeah. This is a typical crowd. So, again, office space by day. But when we have performances, we just turn around all the different office chairs, different furniture that's on the floor. And the reason I picked this photo, I forget exactly which concert this is from, but I'm counting in here, there are, you might even recognize from previous photos.
It can be us. I see a lot of NYU people.
Yeah, there's you actually. Is that you? Is that you next to Al, if you look by the kitchen?
Yeah, that's Ruben.
I think that's Ruben. So there it is. There it is. There's Ruben.
I guess I was there.
Guess you were there. There's, so Ruben from W4 membership, and then there's Amrita Kadambi from the Performers Forum and Sweat Lodge membership. She's the Indian girl in the middle. Yeah, it might have been a Sweat Lodge concert, I don't quite remember. And then there's Lisa Dowling, who you might remember playing the bass in Concert Black. So these, they might have met in a different way, but it warms my heart that there was an audience of a bunch of people who met at Exapno. And they might not have been exposed to each other's music, but they kind of knew through, sharing lentil soup or that kind of thing, what was going on and new collaborations could happen from that. So that's a big, yeah, this is that organization, Sweat Lodge. They're just kooky. I like that photo. That was after one of their concerts where a choral piece needed these colored light glasses. I didn't even quite follow how it was used, but this is the tone of the organization. It's wacky and it's fun, and I really like that. And then every so often, when a member is organizing a concert, this is a little dark, I don't know if you can see, not randomly, unbeknownst to me, kind of big luminous celebrities come by. So this is, I don't know if you can quite make it out, but this is Amy X. Newberg, who's a very well-known, well-respected singer, composer, performer. That's Todd Reynolds, the violinist over there. And the member playing the cellist, whose head is kind of blocked, Valerie, she was a member, she happened to be organizing a concert. I had no idea that these people would be coming in. And in most venues, you know, there would have been a huge hype and you know, an official crowd, and here there were random people from the building and like Valerie's buddies, and I think my parents were in town, and it's just like, it's so not what a normal concert with this, you know, kind of celebrity would be. So that made me happy too. That might be, yeah, that's my last slide. Okay. So, yeah, that's kind of it. The main thing that I advocate is just, in starting up an organization like this, is starting real low. I mean, we have no budget still, but I had no money. I had essentially no resources, and I just happened upon a building where I could really start small and build from there. And you know, lots of stuff happens there. So that's it. We have like 2 minutes for questions if someone had a question.
Maybe a question actually, but it's maybe you say I charge like for membership, and that I gave immediately to the landlord.
Yeah.
Why don't you consider charging more and building up a little budget for yourself?
You know, I've thought of that. I thought of that. And that's so sweet of you as a member to say that. Why don't I pay you a little bit more? So the thing is, I was thinking about me, and there was even a month this summer, you know, I'm in a transitional, I just started a new job, but I was transitional, and according to the way the corporation is set up, I am thankfully a corporation, I have to pay to be a member if I'm going to use the resources, not just run it. And I felt I couldn't afford the $84. And I thought, you know, if I felt this summer that I, the organizer, couldn't afford $84, I'm not comfortable charging more yet. Because you guys are a group of people, you're 4 people, but if one person wants to join, really didn't want to.
That's funny. The membership is for 1 month, and you can we organize concerts, but we only are a member for 1 month. So for 1 month in advance for the concert, we rent out space and we can rehearse there, and we can put up a concert, and we give a little cut from the door too. But then we share that with the entire concert. But if you are just a composer working there for a year, it's the same fee, I guess.
Yeah,
it's 12
it's
times that number for yourself.
Yeah, that's the thing. So the idea is, yeah, the idea was I wanted it to be really accessible, just maximally accessible. So in order to just make the deal with the landlord, the kind of minimum we hashed out, you know, I tried for less, he tried for more, was the $80. So if you're joining as a single person, now it's 84 because we go through PayPal, but it's that $80. But if you join as a quartet, it's the same $80. The idea is you're using, you know, the same resources. And it's true that quartets and single people sign up for things about as much. Single people generally tend to use the space, the writing space more than a string quartet or a performing organization. They don't use it as a quiet workspace as much. So the way it kind of hashed out, I think the money is as equitable as I can make it. But yeah, but I know, it should be a little more. But yeah, but remember, I mean, we take 20% of any money that people take in at concerts, but there's also the extremely strong urging that all concerts should be suggested donation. And again, it's about accessibility. I didn't want anyone not to be able to come to an Exapno concert because they couldn't pay ticket. Someday there'll be money. We're about to be, hopefully, I just got a letter from the IRS, we might be a nonprofit soon.
Oh, great.
So that would be great. And it means I could fundraise in a more general, appealing to rich things way. Which I guess I'll hear more about it at some later panel about how to make money. Later. Yeah.
Thank you so much.